So this is Brian Larkin's shop. He makes period furniture using only the period tools. So he makes his own saws. He spends most of his time sharpening things.
Sure. This is a table he's putting together that is not using any power tools. It's all hand tools that he's built.
Yeah, all hand tools. And it's great because I love this because here he is just an artisan. He is creating, but it is not creative. This is history. This is research. This is appreciation of the skills that came before and lovingly handcrafted in a way that nobody would probably ever pay him enough for.
Oh my God.
So it's a labor of love.
Hello, Derek.
Hey, Adam. Welcome to Artisans Asylum.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited about this. I have heard that it's amazing, but I have not heard anything else.
Okay.
So I am a tabula rasa.
Well, it, like all good things, is what people here have made it. This is us. You can see here the "You Are Here for Scale."
Oh, yeah.
We started with two people. A guy who made robots has recently challenged Japan to a giant robot fight.
Oh,
and his fiance, who was a costumer, wanted to share a mill and an industrial sewing machine and asked people on Facebook, hey, who'd be interested? 100 people showed up to the organizing party. 7 years later, we're in 40,000 square feet.
And it's a cooperative?
It is all member run. We're an educational nonprofit. Our mission is to promote the teaching, learning, and practice of fabrication, which is all the fancy. We want people to make stuff. We want people to know how to make stuff. And we want them to learn it from each other here. So we act on this in a few ways. We provide, I'll show you some of our 12 different shops, but beyond providing tools, we provide classes in all the tools, and we provide affordable studio space, micro studios, because you have shared workspaces, but it just lets us have a huge, amazing community full of people who collectively know everything. If you read our membership agreement, it's a little weird. We want you to come in, so we're not the gym, and you have to promise to take feedback gracefully. You don't have to do it, but you have to listen to anyone who says, hey, I don't think that's safe, or hey, what's going on with that? Have you tried this?
Oh, fascinating.
And it's not a place about NDAs and startups, you know, finding co-marketing synergies. It's people making stuff, people asking questions, either on our mailing list or just wandering around. So it's gotten to be a pretty big business, but we still have a staff that just does the paperwork. And we have, you know, almost 400 janitors and 400 maintenance guys.
400 people.
That's the number of people who have a card that could open this door up.
Right.
It's a 24/7 facility. If you buy that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you buy that membership, it is your shop, and you have to come in and clean it.
So I see long aisles, dense with stuff. Can we take a walk? And
Absolutely.
See what we can
Let's see some of the stuff we got going on.
Okay, good.
All right.
Lead on.
Okay.
I just never tire of little drawers full of things.
Yeah, kind of each shop here operates a little bit independently. This is electronics and robotics.
Oh, okay. So this is, each shop has its own hardware store.
Yeah, well, to an extent. And you always borrow, you know, good neighbors, cup of sugar, you know, box of bolts. But yeah, so I mean, the focus here is, well, every Wednesday night we have a free night, teach anybody who comes in how to solder.
Oh, lovely.
Because it's not that hard. We've got some cheap kits they can buy. But yeah, components. I don't know about all makers, but there's a lot of hoarding. And personally, for me to release all of my treasured items to a place like this,
have you done that?
Has opened up my basement quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know, I've heard you talk about log jam, and I haven't heard you specifically talk about cruft. So cruft the term, it's something that's too good to throw away. But you don't really have a use for it right now.
It's too expensive to throw away, but too inexpensive to sort correctly.
Well, that's logjam.
That's logjam. Oh,
cruft is like your in-process project you never finished.
Oh,
or you know what? I'm not using that drone, or I don't want to give up that connector set because I might need one.
So you donated all of those.
You give it here, and it floats around. And if you actually need it, you can probably get it back from whichever sucker took it.
Wow, okay.
But
that's a great place. That's a great way to make sure. I mean, because one of the problems is you don't want to throw it away because you'd be killing it.
Yeah.
But if it comes into a pool like this and other people use it. So this is one of two kinds of spaces here. This is one of the shops. This is the electronics
This is one of our shops, yeah.
But then you also have micro studios where people have their work set up.
Just as much stuff in people's spaces.
Okay.
But we try and keep a baseline of functionality and a place for us to teach.
Yeah.
And with electronics, electronic parts are free plus shipping.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
buy 100, it's the same price as the 23 you needed.
Right.
When you blow up your 22nd, you'll be glad that you threw the other 60
always
that you had sitting around in a drawer here. And it's take a penny, leave a penny.
Yeah.
You know, so we've got all of the kind of stuff that may have been obsoleted off of a production line, rolls of things. It's a fine line. You really need to have a strong hand to draw the line between e-waste and donations.
Right.
Is it something we can use? Do we have a spot for it?
Or is it going to take a bunch of work to make it usable?
Yeah, and it's when people drop off, oh, here are our power supplies, you know, left over from my phone and whatever. Well, okay, is it useful? Is it necessary? Does it have a weird connector?
Right.
And also keep things in sandwich bags or they will all become one giant power supply. Anyway, a little tip.
All right.
But yeah, so that's electronics and robotics happens here.
All right, what's next?
Jewelry.
All right.
So this is our jewelry area, and it's everything. 6 traditional jeweler stations.
Oh,
so
wow, look at that.
You've got it all. You've got the rig, you've got saws, torch, flex shaft.
The $500 Dremel.
Yeah. Oh, the Fordham SR. But the with foot pedal control. And,
I love those.
Yeah, and
this is great.
I really love this because we have probably 12 jewelers that have studios here and come and work here, and this would fit in anybody's house. So they're here to exchange techniques.
Right.
They're here to compare, and they're also here because if you are working on something and you hit an anvil every 2 seconds for 4 hours, your neighbors will hunt you down.
Yes, they will. This is the most beautiful railroad tie, is it?
Yeah, I think that was formed from a railroad tie.
It's a perfect. I've never seen an anvil so well made out of a railroad.
Well, we hit it a lot, so I think it may have not always been this shape, but
that is awesome. And you've got a fume hood.
Yeah, well, so we sometimes did lamp work in here, and also some of the brazing enameling. Right. So sometimes you can have some fumey stuff.
Is that small investment casting there?
Well, this is ultrasonic cleaning.
Oh, okay.
We do have, this is the wax injection molder, and we have a vulcanizer, so you can actually make a vulcanized rubber mold of something.
Nice.
And we'll see our investment casting later. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so mold frames and wax, polishing. Yeah, the rules in here are kind of no steel and no aluminum, because steel can hurt these tools because they're made of steel, and aluminum can gum them all up because it's not really metal. This is why we don't actually have rules whenever we can. Our old facilities manager, Rob Masick, famous for Rule 0. Don't make me make a rule.
Nice.
You are better than this. Don't do what you're doing. So he would find somebody, who knows what it was, you know, fork in the toaster. And you're like, do we need a rule?
No.
Really?
No.
You know, and that's why this is an environment of trust.
So you have 6 stations here.
Yeah, 6 stations, which is nice for a jewelry class.
Yeah.
You know, we have everything from stone setting and making silver bells and soldering and, you know, general things. We have a kind of micro TIG welder, which Orion was really helpful setting us up with, because in general, these are used to make dentures. And that's the primary. And we're like, hey, we'd like to use it to make art. We'd like to use it to make interesting things. And so we'll probably see some of them as we go through people's spaces. But those are the kinds of partnerships. So when they're not training, you know, they don't need the training rig. So it can kind of be here and people can do interesting things and maybe make a brochure.
What a playground.
We'll see some examples.
Okay.
All right. This is the wood shop. It's our largest because wood projects tend to be large, and there's a lot of people have a little woodworking experience and want to get back in touch with it, and it's a great way to make something with your hands.
A gateway drug to making.
It is. It is. It's you know, it's a little different. There's more investment than you'd have in like a 3D print. And because you're really hands-on, and You know, obviously in use. But you can see
awesome.
this is also some of our storage.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of the challenge is people just don't have places to leave their stuff. So, you know, all these just get rented out by the section.
Oh, nice. And so each one is a person. Oh, right. That makes total sense.
And so you can get a guess as to what people are up to.
Yeah.
Basically a full cabinet shop. And so, you know, just the range of classes you can have in there. Mostly tool testing, but also a few project-based. Make a box shelf or make an Adirondack chair, what have you. But now we're starting to get into kind of metal.
Right.
We've got the shelf storage, the vertical storage, horizontal storage for sheets, 4x8 sheets of stuff. But basically, you know, we get a lot of, you know, steel comes in long, and it leaves in many different shapes. But
this is what Jamie always said, that what makers do is we take large things and make them smaller in precise ways.
Well, that's a great start. So this is kind of CNC Alley.
Oh, wow.
So the multicam was, you know, an industrial machine. So it's not subtle. It is a big beast, and this is happy to run through aluminum, wood, plastic, you know, what have you. It's got a vacuum hold down table and about a 5 by 10 foot work area.
Amazing.
On a 5 by 12 bed. So the whole kind of bed slides back and forth, and the head goes back and forth. But getting it to run is non-trivial, you know. So we have a shop bot, and V-carve is just the easiest thing for people to approach. And the learning of the machining and whatever else is a lot simpler. So we see John's back there plastic nailing something onto the bed.
Oh, I see.
Which is great, because then you just whack it off. It's a good way to affix it while you're working on the shop bot.
Plastic nails?
Plastic nails.
Do they fit in a standard pin nailer?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, all right. We're gonna.
I did not know about this.
John, can we play with the plastic nail gun? Put the safety on, please.
So plastic nails.
What?
High-end nail gun. They're from the timber industry. They're used for tagging trees because you don't want to hit your big saw against the nail.
Right.
And if you mill through them on here, I don't care.
Right. Of course not. And they come in a standard.
They come with a standard, slightly modified Omer high-end nail gun.
I did not know such a thing existed. I love learning about a material that I did not know about. Oh, there's many layers to this.
Oh yeah. Well, this is CNC Alley. So
come here.
I don't know how familiar you might have been with Project Hexapod, but to give you a hint, the Kickstarter video started with, "Haven't you always wanted a 12,000-pound, six-legged walking robot that carries two people?"
Yes.
Yes. Well, the people that did were really passionate about it.
And
one of the reasons this place exists, and this table is part of what that Kickstarter helped do.
So this is a plasma table?
Yes, this is a plasma table. Does up to a half-inch thick steel.
Amazing.
So the Mark II robot that you may have seen shooting stuff was fabricated in part on this before a really interesting drive across the country to its new home in Oakland.
They got stopped a lot?
Well, it's an interesting thing to drive a giant robot gun-wielding torso across the country.
I can imagine that people will stop you just to ask what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and some of them have flashing lights.
I've had that happen to me.
Yeah, well, that's how you know you're doing something interesting. But yeah, so this is plasma cutting. You know, also does aluminum. So this is great. We make a lot of brackets and those little cutouts.
And I'm guessing from the red curtains here, this is also a welding area?
Yeah, so this is, so then this gets into our kind of first welding bay.
Right.
So this is, this one is set aside from our other welding area, so this is kind of always open during classes. So there's always someplace you can weld, even when we have a class in process. But we can pop into the rest of the welding bay and take a peek there. So welcome to our main metalworking and welding area.
Love rooms like this. Look at this welding table.
It's one of the really cool things is if you didn't go to vocational school and you don't want to take a semester there, you can't learn to weld.
Right.
And last I heard, the average union welder is 56 because the people just aren't coming up doing it.
Wow.
And so we're really excited to be able to present an opportunity for people to try welding.
Yeah.
So one of the funny things is not everybody wants to have a stool or that one-off thing where they just were learning. So people make all of our furniture and our racks. And so you can see our stands and whatever else. They look like they were welded by somebody welding for the first time. because you can only grind away so much shame. You know, not all shame will buff out.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And if we don't need anything, then they cut it up and put it back together. So our carts get a little smaller over time, but it's a nice way for people to not have to have a big materials fee and be able to come and actually make a real thing at the same time.
I see you've got a nice shear, 36-inch shear here.
Yeah, we got a shear.
And a brake, finger brake, that's great.
Yep, the brake, pipe bender, plasma cutter is in here. And one of the exciting things is, one of the things we learned is these ventilation systems aren't really great unless you're within a foot of them.
Right.
And that's not how we work. So we're super psyched. These just came in. We got these at an auction from a consumer products plant that was closed down. Oh. So it took us a week to clean all the deodorant out of them. It was in a deodorant factory. Of all the bad smells we've ever had here, that was the best bad smell to get rid of. So they probably still... But so we're really
movable fume
they're hoods. Movable fume hoods that are the right way because it's we don't want to necessarily have kids and whatever else exposed to that as we expand our programming if we go that way, and just in general be able to in time you have to be open to opportunity. We don't have any institutional funding so we just have to wait and this thing's on auction, okay, are we all in, okay, let's do it, and that's the kind of the way things go. So this is probably notching. Probably notching for bike frame. Build your own bike frame is one of our most popular classes.
Got it.
Because it's a long class because we teach you everything from notching to brazing all the way through. And so it's 3 people at a time. So it usually sells out in 2 days. And we just need more instructors, but that's, a good problem to have. So
it's a great space. It feels quite roomy and...
Well, you never know what's going to be in here.
Right.
People have brought in their trailers to work on.
Right.
Giant robots. Getting bored of that story. I don't know. But a lot of sculpture. This place is super busy. The month before Burning Man, we call Space Madness here. Because the space is insane. And the number of projects, whether it's a giant flaming clown head, or...
And everyone's going to be driving them all the way across country.
Yeah. And then, we actually have a truck, a semi leaves from here. It pulls up on the loading dock.
That's smart.
A few hundred acrobins go in, and playa be damned, So, and our local burn as well.
Nice.
We've got a Firefly, and so some of the fixtures there include Ground is Lava, which is a series of platforms that are built to keep you so you never touch the ground in this particular area.
I love that.
Why not? It's much better than, don't step on a crack. It's like Ground is Lava. It's much more scalable into steel. But
Oh, I see. Now we're at the other end of the hallway.
Yep.
Got it. God, it extends every which way.
Well, this was the Ames envelope factory, which you and I would remember when you went to the doctor and they had all the envelopes.
Yeah.
And it would have the 2 letters from your name on the edge.
Yeah.
That's called a safety envelope. And about half to a third of all of them in the world were made in this building until they stopped using envelopes in medical offices.
Right.
So now all the remaining ones are made in another plant. This one got shut down. And we were really psyched because we moved in. It was about 5% occupied 6 years ago. When they took a gamble on us, we took a gamble on them.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we got powder coating. And oven. There's some very specific things that let you call a room a paint room that this doesn't have, which is fire suppression in the hood. So it's the vented room.
Right.
Where we do our painting. So here in the paint room, it's really important to have a system because we only have so much space. It's important that we have a finishing space where spray paint won't drift into it.
Dustier, freer of dust.
So trying to keep a clean inside and a messier side. You can see this is for our thermoformer in progress.
Nice.
So this might be a familiar frame.
Yes.
So anything that's in here should have a note on it with both when it is okay to move and when you are going to move it, so that if somebody else needs the space, we use baker's racks because you can throw a lot of stuff. It's a nice way to not have to manhandle somebody else's project. But
oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah, so this is kind of the sort of thing, and hopefully we have info on how to get everybody and clean up and make use of a shared resource. The place seems huge, but essentially we've taken, about $1 million a year and turned it into this building.
Wow.
We then have no money left.
Right.
So we treat every square foot here is our currency.
Yeah.
Every square foot here belongs to someone or something.
Right.
And that's why we have that kind of ticketing system.
And I notice a spirit of shared use. Understand there's always other people who are going to maybe need this space under different circumstances.
Yeah, well, it's all about flexibility,
yeah.
being able to address the need, and you have higher utilization. We pay that cost of setup and teardown time.
Yeah.
The multicam, it's an amazing, huge working CNC machine that doesn't have the uptime to justify its cost of ownership for industry. Right. We love to love machines.
Yeah.
That's somebody gets to invest in that, and you're going to see a lot of those just babied machines brought back, including one of my favorites we're going to see just through here.
Let's do it.
This was our kind of second expansion here in the complex.
Machine tools,
machining,
I see mills.
And we'll go through a variety of that. So one of the fun things, everybody's kind of aware of flammable storage.
Yep.
So we have kind of try and keep things in check, but then these are kind of the shared flammables for larger quantities of things. More storage, we have pallet storage. So you can see that if you have an entire pallet, these are kind of interesting because the deal is it has to be on a pallet so we can move this if we need it out of the way. Again, it's about flexibility. So this is pallet storage, but then my current favorite machine is this one. This is Arbor Press number 4. This is 125 years old or so, and I still have to depreciate it every year, so I think it owes me money.
This is, holy cow.
But this was made just north of here over a century ago, and it still presses.
May I?
Yes, please.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure somewhere, some factory got a shinier one instead.
Oh my God. That's so beautiful. How do you bring it back up again? Oh, you have to undo. You have to, there we go.
Yep. You got the.
You gotta lift that.
Yep.
There we go. You said it's 125 years old?
Yeah, that's our guess.
This is
unit number
so magnificent.
Yeah, 119 from the Hill and Clark Machinery Company of Boston, and it's just there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
That's maybe a little more work than something with a more modern release mechanism, but
I love the counterweight. God, it feels good.
Yeah. I mean, why not be a working museum?
Totally.
So, I just kind of. These are the important things. It's not about the newest thing. It's about getting the job done.
Yeah.
We have a lot of tools in progress, things that.
Tapper.
Yep. Tapping, the smaller press.
Yep.
More of a just bearing squeezer, So you got.
Some lathes.
The metal lathe. Ooh, actually, let's see which.
This is beautiful. I don't know Logan.
It's really interesting. We're lucky in Somerville, we have a great vocational program at our high school, and they've got some amazing high-end equipment, as well as some manual ones. And I was talking to one of the kids down there, and I said, well, what's your favorite machine? And he goes, oh, well, this one's great. He's talking about the CNC machining center. But for a project on this manual mill, manual lathe, excuse me, I made a watch for my grandfather. And so I know that machine, and I know every piece of that watch on this World War II machine. So that's my favorite. If I had to make another watch, I'd use this one. And if I had to make more than one watch, I would definitely use this one. But that's my favorite machine. And it's just great that we were able to find somebody who has that feeling.
Yes.
And reward that. And just to know that even, kids today get it. Makers are still out there.
Okay.
So one of the things that first brought me here years ago was a laser cutter.
Yeah.
And I arrived shortly after the previous one had met an unfortunate end, and we almost needed a rule.
The laser cutters tend to catch on fire, I've noticed in my life.
Well, you can't shoot something with a laser and be surprised when it catches fire. That's what I say when I do the training. What were you hoping for? That's kind of awesome.
That is the best case scenario.
And yeah, so full vaporization is ideal, but yeah, you get some fire. So this we made ourselves.
Oh, really?
From the laser saw open source laser project.
Oh, that's awesome.
We kind of kicked off from there. Obviously, the party lights are our own feature.
Clearly.
But it's been really great, and we have a bunch of new custom-made lasers coming in from Black Cat Labs. But in the meantime, this has just been a real workhorse as a cutter, and in general, you don't want to be doing 4x2 foot etching anyway.
No.
So this does the job. It gets you your parts, and I love it because it's just the fastest. Draw a thing, now it's a real thing. Yeah. Thanks.
It's beautiful. Derek, I'm rendered almost speechless by how inspiring this place is. I feel like I could spend a week here and not unpack all the amazing things that are happening.
Yeah, it'd actually be pretty tricky because it's just, there's so many people doing so many things.
Yeah.
We showed you just some of the shared stuff.
So if someone in the greater Boston area is watching this and wants to know, how do I get in on this action, where do they go?
Artisansasylum.com. It's the website. You can find it, or just search for your local makerspace. If you're not quite in the area, we also do outreach. We want to help you put this where you are. It's we do our staff all has office hours to meet with people starting makerspaces. We have a So You Want to Start a Makerspace handbook. So make it happen, and don't make our mistakes. Make your own, and then tell us what worked. Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much. That is such a great message and a great space, and I'm honored to have the tour.
Well, we're all so thrilled to have you. So
thanks.
Thanks.